You already know. Easy A in the building. Shit is real out here. Mm, it's crazy. A lot of commotion going on, especially now that this new eclipse, new moon, is bringing us into another focal point in time where the Most High, God, no matter what name you call him or her or entity, whatever label you decide to put on your God, he's here making people stand in their essence of who they truly are. If you ain't of the dark or, you know, dominated by the dark that was in us, we getting our legs, but we ain't being, we getting popped, we getting catching shots, but y'all getting ass whippings. If you are working dominantly in your dark, serving your vessel in this world, you hear the confirmation in this world. He's tearing your asses up. And the more that you stay blind to what's actually going on, I'm giving it to you. I'm telling you what's going on. He's here. If you in your head thinking about all the negative shit that you have done, regretting losing true love, somebody that really lived in it, lived in that, or tried to bring it to you 100%, and you didn't respect it, recognize it, and try to condemn it. Woe to you. Really woe to you. And it's crazy because I'm a survivor of that situation from many, and I mean many. We're talking about thousands. Numbers that, I couldn't even fathom. And that's what's given to me. He don't give us all. He give you what you could bear, and that's truly what's going on right now. I could testify to that. There's a lot of talk about faith, faith controversy. A person that is religious, and a person that is, spiritual, meet, fall in love, and one of the, sides is weighed down because of his fellow, you know, sisters and brothers in that religion has a problem with it, or at least in their head that they have a problem with it. What's crazy is if that person would have just allowed our relationship to grow however it was going to grow, even if they wanted to say, you know what, I really ain't sure. I don't know what I want to do with myself or this relationship, instead of, you know, hurting you and myself in the process. Can we just be friends and see if the other side could accept that? And if they could, you would not have found out that you ain't gave a fuck about whatever petty shit been going on. And you'd have learned a lot. I do read the Bible. I do know a lot of the Bible. I do have a lot of understanding of the Bible. But is that my faith? No. So I fall short in a lot of those practices and knowledge that you may have that I don't possess. Just like what I have, you don't possess. And it became a union of religion and spiritualism, which I know a lot of the different religions and will, raw reap have a problem with it. But I find that funny because you're trying to tell me that everybody in your family and everybody that you know that's in, a certain label religion or spiritualism haven't or don't know anybody that's been in a relationship where that's a Christian, she's a Catholic, or she's a Christian, he's a Catholic, or he, however, like, it don't make me no never mind. I got nothing to do with that. That is, your lifestyle. I know it to be. It's been here since we could, since it was developed, and that was before we even existed, for it to still be here, or to even exist, period. Think about that one. I'm for real. I'm a person that has no bias. You know, I have did some bad things in the name of survival, and I think maybe I get leniency because of that. And I also ask for forgiveness, and it's not very often I come to that conclusion. 9 times out of 10, it's an outside influence that I was trying to appease, which I know now I don't have to. And I knew back then I didn't have to. It just was my makeup. not going to be sorry for what I am. Like, we know many that before it's been, kind of truly accepted. The LGBTQ, whatever. Sorry, not to be disrespectful, but I don't. It is what it is. We knew it was here. It was always put in our face. And the ones that, that really had a problem with it or, you know, protest against it, what if everybody protested your relationship or, you know, you're heterosexual if that's what you are. 9 times out of 10 when the person is adamant against something that they don't know nothing about. One is fear, and fear in a whole lot of levels. Two, they don't have no knowledge of themselves. They feel because they're around that or it's around them that they will succumb to wanting to perform like how they perform or play how they play. And if that's so, you more than welcome to it to do what how you feel with you. Hopefully, it's with somebody that also feel that same way about their sexuality or whatever. It has nothing to do with anybody else. Our religion got nothing to do with anybody else. But how can you respect or have any understanding of something that you're closed off to even understand? I have said it before. Religion and spiritualism, or spiritualism is in all religions. So basically, religion is spiritualism. So I don't see, you know, where that problem was, if you want to call that a problem. Two, that means if all those individuals that, you feel you have to, be like or, be down. It's an old saying. I know a lot of us have heard it. If your friend jumped off a bridge or jumped off the roof or jumped out the window, would you follow him or her or them? Basically, you telling me you would, and you telling everybody else you would because you not you. You everything that you expect them want you to be. And then you assuming you will never know what that person will want you to be. And even if you did, you couldn't be that because you are you. So I'm kind of confused. You know, I know my logic is sound. I know my intelligence is sound. I know how I just displayed it in religion, race, coach, same thing, culture. We make it complicated when it's really that simple. We've been having this argument or subconscious debate for eons, but yet throughout the centuries, we done interbreeded so much. So to blow your mind again, we talking about how many hundreds of thousands, how many millions of years that man been doing what they've been doing, society been doing what they've been doing, because none of this stuff is new. It's supposed to we in the 2000s. It's supposed to be eradicated, and that's just within our lifetime, let alone from back then, the hundreds of thousands of millions of years of man evolution or man being upon you know the all. I find it funny that a lot of stuff that I've been talking all my life, I never heard anybody in this house, my mother, my nieces, my sister, my nephew, nieces and nephews, my uncle, never talked on this topic, never even talked on religion, which I know they are, because my grandmother was constantly in the Word all my life. That's all I know her, especially in her old age. She stayed in that book. She woke up with the book on. She went to sleep with the book on. I could testify to that. Did I understand it? No. Did I believe that she believed? I can't even say that. But I know she was dedicated. I know that much. Have I ever seen her pray? No. I have seen her read. Have I ever heard her mumbling while she was reading? Not to my recollection, but it may be a possibility. It's not like I was observing, watching. This is just, as passing by, you know, or stopping to talk or something like that. But it wasn't, I'm there being nosy. And that's another thing. I'm not nosy. I don't give a fuck about what the next person is doing. The only reason why I know is because it be spoken, and hopefully it be spoken by the person that business it is. But it would never leave my mouth because it don't concern me, and that's also controversial because if it does concern somebody I know, we will all want that information. But yet, in this world, we pick and choose who we do that to, give that information to, because, we try to stay out of shit. And you could call that kind of a fear. But I don't give a fuck. I will tell you what you need to know. You can hate me. You can be mad at me. You don't even have to fuck with me. But at the end of the day, whatever information I told you gave you a heads up for whatever it is to come. And if you were smart, you'd have heard it and dodge whatever situation that I spoke on. Even when, individuals that I be around or know, even some that I don't know that pop up on the scene and we having conversation, and for some reason they just telling me what they what they feel they need to tell me, which it has nothing to do with me. But you know, as a person, when you being spoke to, you're supposed to hear what needs to be what's said. And 9 times out of 10, they talk about a situation or complaining about somebody, or and you know, I'll give them some advice based on what they relaying to me, and I also will tell them that you know I hearing what you saying. I don't know none of these people. I don't know the situation, but there's two sides to the story, and then there's the truth. Only y'all two know that. But through what I'm hearing from whatever you projecting, I didn't jump on it. Yeah, that bitch, or yeah, that nigga. You should do this. You should do that. You never get that type of stuff from me. You'll get, well, what you need to do is, avoid those conversations or avoid that person. You know, you be cordial. You can speak, but whatever the situation is what it is, and because of however you feel, the best option is to stay away. Okay, you work with the person. Okay, you deal with them for however many hours you gotta be at the job. But it's not like y'all working hand in hand. And if you are working hand in hand and it's really that much of a problem, you could go to your supervisor or manager or whatever and request for a different position or a different slot. And if they ask, you don't have to tell them that you having a problem. You just tell them that the situation just ain't that situation just ain't working out. You like the job, you see you perform well, but you feel you'll be able to perform at a different section or a different time. Easy shit. That's not hard. You might call it running. You might call it, but if you excuse me, but if you go avoid a situation when there's really no situation, where do you go wrong at? You happier? That person got to find a different person to emotionally dump or attack for whatever reason, or whatever situation that entails. So like I said, we just speaking hypothetically, and I ain't speaking. You know, I could give you like a for instance, which I am giving you for instance. It's not you know exact personal, but we all know, we all have experienced it in some type of way from many different individuals. And it's not an attack; it's just a realization, and we need to truly be mindful of our actions, other people's actions, and how we deal with them. Because if you ain't thinking, you know, properly, cleanly, calmly, not in emotion, you know, not in anxiety, not in under pressure, or even when you are through under all those things, through practice, you able to master that, catch yourself, know that the situation is not you. The situation is whatever is trying to make the situation. Now, if it's you, then you know you got to work on you. You got to change certain things for certain things to, disappear, which are lessons, which is are tests of, one's makeup. And even though it's a constant learning in Earth School, it's also a constant test at the same time. Every day is a lesson and a test. So you gotta be awoke, on your feet, as attention, aware of all aspects, outer influence and inner influence. When you control your inner influence, the outer influence don't mean nothing. The only person that you need to correct is you. And only if you feel that it's a need for correction. And if you know you and you truly in tune because you know you will hear those whispers and those nudges for the correction, if you like it or not. And the longer it takes us to learn the lesson, the more severe the lesson becomes. Yeah, my hair is growing. Mm. Like I said, there's a lot of commotion, a lot of arguments, a lot of infighting with a lot of the individuals that, that was formed in an alliance to come after one individual per se. And also, y'all, the collectors that's awoke, that actually have some understanding of the things that I speak of. And if not, you are being awoken. You're being shooken up. You hear this conversation. You understand it. Now sit back and see if it's been in your life until the present. See what you didn't see. Learn what you didn't learn by going back and you could say correcting mistakes, and then again, you can't say correcting mistakes because if you like me, your mistakes is, choices, certain choices that, you knew better. But then you got the ones that you make that it looked it right. It felt right. But yet it was still wrong. So really, you never really know when we choose right. But because to choose right is to know. And when we sleep, we don't know. But as you adapt the different teachings, the little subtleties, the little observations, the little subtleties that we distract ourselves from because of our emotions towards whatever individual more than towards oneself. That's one of the keys to the illusion, that we worry about everybody else and focus on us last, even if you are stable. At the end of the day, we do a lot of stuff for individuals that we really don't have to do. We do it out of care, concern, and somewhat of responsibility, depending on the relationship. But if it ain't uh, fair exchange, it don't have to be cash with cash. It don't have to be love with love, but a mixture of everything. The stuff that we do naturally for our loved ones, that we just do because we love them, and then the things that we learn to do because we love them. And we really don't have to don't have to do that part. We're learning how to love the next individual. And why do I say that? Because if you love yourself, you know how to love that individual. The only individual that will be saying that you don't know how to love me is somebody that want control of a situation that they shouldn't have control over. I don't have control over you. You don't have control over me. We have control over our situation together, singularly and togetherly. If it ain't like that, it's not a relationship. It's a slave master situation, basically a trauma bond. I know it's going to sound cold hearted what I'm about to say. You can have kids with individuals, 'cause, 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 'c and the relationship just not clicking, you know? Do you continue to stay there and fights for something that don't want to be that situation? Love is really no effort. To be loved, to receive love shouldn't be no effort. If it's an effort, you gotta put effort into it, or the person is demanding you put effort into it. It might hurt, but you look into that person's face, straight in their eye, with all the love that you have, and you tell them you can leave when you're ready. And I'd rather for you to leave first because you already know you ain't happy, but yet you trying to keep hold of something. So you happy about something that's there. You getting something out of it. You just want full control. And I find that funny that we all have seen relationships like that where the woman is dominant of the man, where she say ha, you jump, he say ha ha, and vice versa. Do they look like they in love? Do they look like they happy? Do that relationship actually friend or love relationship last at all? It never does, right? But because one is blind to whatever illusion that we perceive of the individual and the illusion that they painted, and if what they painted and the illusion that you already have formed in your mind is not presented in your relationship in your face, and you have spoken about it, just like we know that individual is going to speak their piece too, or should be able to, if they're not happy. You make up your mind that it's not what you want. You come to the opposite individual, so they can't say they don't know what they need to know. And basically, they do, because it shouldn't be the first time you bringing this up. You know, you can give them one time, you can give them, give them two times. Give them the third time, okay. Anything more than that, you're actually giving them the gun or the knife to end to end a lot of different situations and maybe even your life in the future. Why would I say that? Because you're not defending yourself. You're not guarded. You letting things slide that you wouldn't let slide if you didn't have feelings for for whatever individual that's doing the thing. that's hurting you, that's making you angry, that's making you plead to be heard with. And if you ain't being heard and nothing's being changed, but yet you doing all the changing, be smart, pack your shit and run. And to never return. And if you have kids with them, I didn't say leave the kids. So don't get it twisted. But if they make it a situation where your sanity, your livelihood, your peace is being disturbed just because of the attachment, you walk away. Most likely you will get put on child support. Okay, no problem. You can use the courts to get visitation rights. Okay, no problem. And you get to have a relationship with your kids, which is fucked up in the first place because you didn't have to go to no courthouse, to no lawyer, to any official to put your dick in her or for her put her pussy on you and y'all doing the damn thing. And whatever agreement you had with having those children. Then you go in the other scenario where certain females use the kids as a weapon, use the court system as a assault weapon against, the naive man. But if the man is smart, he know she got him by the balls because so-called the law's gonna be on her side instead of looking at both sides, finding out what the real situation is this all about. Because nobody just have kids and walk away. You can't. Nobody on this planet could tell me that. I don't. I didn't have a father in my life, and I'm saying this. We don't know the relationship unless you was there to witness or remember whatever relationship that was. And if you've seen a lot of arguing, a lot of fighting, a lot of verbal abuse, you know why the other individual is not around. Either it was forced away because it was the individual doing the stuff, or it was the mother doing the stuff and the father had to walk away to preserve himself. And if it is that you just walked away, especially if you was in a relationship, because there's one night stands, or there has been one night stands where those type of situations pop up, especially if they wasn't